Hey guys, Brandon here. A while back I did a video about the temperature differential in the vents, specifically with the heat in the Model S. So the fact that the heated air coming out of the vents in the driver's side is warmer than the passenger side, and also of those are warmer than the back vents. Um, and I also had something else going on. One of the rear doors was kind of making a clunky latch sound. So I had called Tesla service, and since I live in a state where it's illegal for them to have a service center, our service option is a Tesla Ranger, who is based out of where's he based out of? Cleveland or something like that. I think somewhere in Ohio. And was it Indiana? Now I forget. Anyway, but he actually lives here in Grand Rapids, and I've talked to him before because back when there was that seatbelt check that Tesla was, some European Tesla, their front seatbelt wasn't attached right, so then you could get your Tesla seatbelt checked for free. So I ended up doing that. Mine was fine. Anyway, all that to say, I've met him, and he was telling me that he can pretty much do anything on the vehicles except for changing out like the battery and I think drivetrain, because you need more. I don't know. You need to be able to lift the car up or something like that. Anyway, so he did come out, and so I thought I'd just go over the invoice here. So the way they have it here is the concern, the corrections, and then descriptions. So here was what I had described. The HVAC is not blowing at full capacity. This is kind of what I was saying, but not exactly. What was actually happening is, I think some other people have noticed this too, where the vents, like on hot days or really cold days, the volume of air coming out of the vents all of a sudden goes down, even if you're at the same vent number or same fan number, and not having what do you call it? Um, Eco mode. I always forget what it's actually called. It's not safe mode. It's not eco mode. Range mode. That's what it is. Not having range mode on. Anyway, so I've always kind of figured like, okay, maybe it's saving in hot weather. Maybe it's saving cooling capacity for the battery. In cold weather, maybe it's saving heat capacity to warm up the battery. I'm not really sure, but it is something noticeable. Um, so the correction, I don't know. Looks like there wasn't one. Weather was cold today. Checked for concern. Blower seemed to increase steady from 1 to 11. No problem found. No further work needed. I figured that was going to happen because it wasn't really reducible, and it only happened when I was driving. By the way, I started at number 2 because number 1 is kind of a generic thing, and it had my address in it, so I didn't want to show that one. So the next one is the, let's see, this concern. Rear heat does not feel as warm as the front. Also, passenger front isn't as warm as the driver heat. General diagnosis. Front found center sense next to MCU. Not sure what that means. Maybe that's the maximum heat area at 145 at max heating setting. Far passenger and far driver side vents at 140. So that confirms that as you go out towards the peripheral vents, it's a little bit cooler. Rear vents on center console at 120. So this is at max. When I was testing it with my little thermometer, I found that the temperature would get up to 120 actually in the front vents, without even going to max. So I think I'll have to look at my video again. But that's interesting. So this confirms that the rear heat is less intense than the front heat, which is a bummer. Compared temp readings to other Model S in Cleveland. He is in Cleveland, or based there, at identical settings, and found similar temperature readouts. No problem found. Vehicle is normal. So it is normal for the peripheral vents to be at 140, at least max air temperature. Obviously, it cools along its path, and once it comes out into the cabin. And apparently, it's normal for it to be even lower in the rear vents. So, bummer, but good to know. Okay, next, door latch on the passenger rear makes clunking sound, blah, 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 blah. Corrections, the latches, strikers, and pinch sensors. Found the door handle and window misaligned. Remove door panel and adjusted the window regulator, tracks, and window itself. Removed door handle and reinstalled properly so it did not rub in the door handle. Verified proper fitment Fitment. Never heard of that. Just proper fit is what I would have thought. Fit and function. Okay, so there was something wrong with that. So got that taken care of. Next, courtesy inspection. Okay, so what do they do? Pull the logs, check for active faults, no active faults, check for firmware, latest version, of course. Topped off washer fluid, thank you. Adjusted tire pressure to 45, front and rear. I think I was close to that, but it's hard to get those completely equal. So measured tire tread depth at outer, center, and inner. Wow, they're all 9/32, 9/32 of an inch. I don't know when you're supposed to change tires. Is it like 2 or 3 treads? That would have been good to know, actually. But what I find interesting is that the wear pattern, and this is at about 21,000 miles, 22,000 miles. So the wear pattern is like completely equal. I'm sure having all-wheel drive has something to do with that because, you know, with regen it's both front and back. So, and of course the more regen you have, the less brake you're using. Anyway, so that's interesting. And obviously everything was free. Alright, so that's it. This was my first experience with Tesla service. And again, it was a Ranger service, so I was at work when all this happened. I had the vehicle in the driveway, which I probably didn't even need to. He could have come to my workplace. He could have taken the car out of the garage. But I thought it was easier just to do that. And I never saw him, and just a couple of days later I got this emailed to me. So pretty good experience. I wish there was something that could be done to even out the temperature distribution, but that's all right. And yeah, I hope this was interesting, and I'll see you in the next video.